This
Hi.
meeting is being recorded.
Okay, hi, welcome to the Village of Buchanan, June 4th, 2024 meeting. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. All right. So this evening, we have Bob Wheeler on Zoom, and we have Dan Stewart on vacation. And I'd like to first start with the approval of the minutes for May 7, 2024 Village Board meeting and also the special meeting. Are there any comments, questions, or corrections?
I'm good.
I'm good? Okay. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next is comments from the floor, agenda items only. No? Okay. So, before we get into the new business, I have some wonderful, exciting news. We just got approved today. The Village of Buchanan Board and Holtec have come to an agreement with a pilot. The terms of the pilot, 8 years and $1.6 million a year. It was, I thank the board. We all worked together. Everybody worked hard, and we knew what numbers we had to come in with, and it's a very good arrangement, good deal for the board. It's going to give us some stability going forward with our budgets, and it was, I'm just relieved. I'm very relieved. So it's a good agreement for our village. What happens next, the contracts, the agreement will be written up, and then it will go to the board to review, and then the board will approve me to sign the agreement. So like I said, stability for 8 years, and
it's good news. It's good
And
news
it's-
for the village. It's just good news.
yeah, it's very good news, and I was just pleased that the board could work together to do this. So, team effort.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Anthony, do you want to say anything?
Sure, I'd like to thank, the entire board for getting this done. It's been a process and something that's been looming over us for a long time. I know now Marcus will be happy that this stabilizes our budget for the future, which is very important to him.
Yes.
It gives us an outlook on where we're headed, and like I said, stabilizes our budget every year for him. Now he knows the numbers he's working for instead of guessing. Last year we said we were going to roll the dice and see where we came in, and we came in where we needed to be, if not better. And I appreciate Stephanie's help with this and Marcus's help, and the board. We did a good job negotiating this and getting this done. It's great for the village that this got done.
Amen.
Yes, thank you.
And Bob, would you like to say anything? Can you hear?
Yes, I'd like to just say I'm really happy that we got this agreement. The board worked well together. Marcus and Stephanie did a lot for us to get this done. Marcus let us know the numbers we needed to get at, and we got to the numbers we needed to get at. So I'm pleased that it's been resolved and we can move forward with this.
Thanks, Bob. Okay, so, under new business, I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing amending Chapter 211-10 entitled Schedule of Use Regulations to the Code of the Village of Buchanan. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Stephanie, I'm going to let you explain what this amending the Chapter 211 is.
Sure. So it is the attachment to the Schedule of Use Regulations. We had under column 3, we had an A and a B. They were inconsistent with one another and contradictory.
You can't hear?
Here.
Oh, I'll have to.
Nobody could hear?
A little closer.
Really? Okay, so
There we go.
this
There
is,
we go.
oh my God, it's echoing in my ears. Attachment 1 to the Schedule of Use Regulations, column 3, section 211.10, we had an A and a B. B was contradictory to A in many ways. And so what we've done is we've crossed out B, and we've added townhouses to A, to the first paragraph. So it would be 1 and 2 bedroom multifamily apartment dwellings, 2 family dwellings, or townhouses on parcels of land, on and on. What we had done originally under B was multifamily, which we also had under A, but it's contradictory, and townhouses were treated differently. So you could only have 6 townhouses per 40,000 square feet, whereas you could have multifamily apartment dwellings, 2 family dwellings, you could have 12. So that's what we're changing. And in effect, we get rid of the entire B and makes everything consistent under A. So that's what we're doing.
Good. We like consistency.
Consistency is good. And you know, you don't see it until you go to review it, and until you have a situation like the one in front of us where we have a developer coming in and we say, and they call and say, well, why are we treated differently? And then it comes to our attention, you know, so we're fixing that. Anyway, so that's what that is.
Okay, thank you. Any comments from the board? I'm okay with it.
I'm fine.
Any comments from the floor? No? Anthony, did you, Anthony or Bob, or, oh, well, we got Eileen coming.
Since your voice is so low too, Stephanie, so it was 6 townhouses per 40,000 square feet?
Mm-hmm.
So what did it change to?
Now it's consistent with apartment dwellings and 2-family houses, so that is 12 per 40,000.
Okay, and that was what he was projecting,
I
the
think he's doing
gentleman
10.
with the Blakely. No, I think he said 3 with 4, 3 buildings with 4 units?
Yeah, I think it's changed.
Oh, okay. But it will be 12 units, 12 townhouses per 40,000 square feet?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Mayor, just for the record, too, I just want- there's no attendees, so there's nobody to ask any questions.
Oh, okay.
Just to
All
let you
right.
know.
All right. If the board is okay, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second.
A lot of seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
So, Awilda, I'm going to ask you to read the resolution to adopt local law number 4.
Okay. Whereas a resolution was duly adopted by the Board of Trustees of the Village of Buchanan for a public hearing to be held by said village board at the municipal building, 236 Tate Avenue, Buchanan, to hear all interested parties on a proposed local law amending Chapter 211 to 210 entitled Schedule of Rules of Use Regulations to the Code of the Village of Buchanan, and whereas notice of said public hearing was duly advertised in the official local newspaper, and whereas said public hearing was duly held at a regularly scheduled meeting of the Village Board on June 4th, 2024 at 7 p.m. at the Municipal Building, 236 Tate Avenue, Buchanan, New York, and all parties in attendance were permitted an opportunity to speak on behalf of or in opposition to said proposed local law or any part thereof, and whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Buchanan, after due deliberation, finds it in the best interest of the Village of Buchanan to adopt said local law. Now, be it therefore resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Buchanan hereby adopts said local law number 4-2024, amending Chapter 211 to 210 of the Code of the Village of Buchanan, a copy of which is attached hereto and made a part of this resolution, and be it further resolved that the village clerk be and hereby is directed to enter said local law in the minutes of this meeting and in the local law book of the Village of Buchanan, and to give due notice of the adaptation of said local law to the Secretary of State of the State of New York. I would like to make a motion to approve.
Second?
I'll second it.
On a question? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Bob is going to be a lag with the voice, but we know you're there, Bob.
That's an aye.
You can hide.
Not for long. Okay, so next on the agenda is a resolution classifying the wastewater quality improvements and regional benefits project for the New York State DEC Water Quality Improvement Program. So we have applied for the WQIP before. We applied last year for the wastewater plant, and we were denied. So we are going to resubmit that, and that the submittal is June 14th, I believe.
Yeah, just to, for the board and everybody's opinion, with us a WIA grant that we did not apply for last year, we're gonna be
Right.
reapplying for that first. So that's that's a different kind of match. And then that's due in June. And then the WQIP grant might come out in July or August. We haven't got.
That's right, yeah, that's usually the end of July.
Correct.
Okay,
Right.
and that gets announced in December.
Right.
If you win it.
So
Okay,
we're going
you're
through
doing
the
both,
process to
right.
do both processes, so that when the WQIP grant gets released, we're ready to apply for that one as well.
Right, and the the WIA grant, that, any indication of when that gets announced, if you're awarded the grant?
Probably, that's about 6 to 8 months by the time we get that in. Yep,
Really? Wow.
it'll take a
Oh,
while.
the WQIP comes back quicker.
Yeah.
Okay, and and the New York State NESEFC Water Infrastructure Improvement Grant, which is the WIA funding to consist of a Type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act for SEQA. Okay. So any questions or comment on this? I'm excited that we're putting in again for the grant, and hopefully this year will be successful, so we can start moving along on the upgrade of the plant. And the Albany Post Road Pump Station, that needs to,
Correct.
it's another thing needs to be addressed. Okay. So I will read the resolution. Whereas State of New York grant funding is available through the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, through the Water Quality Improvement Program, the WQIP, and the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation, the EFC, through the Water Infrastructure Improvement Act, WIA, to support eligible wastewater treatment facility and collection system improvements and related clean water quality projects undertaken by municipalities. And whereas the Village of Buchanan is eligible to seek such funding through the 2024 Consolidated Funding Application and separate WIA application grant cycles administered by New York State. And whereas the Village of Buchanan will use the WQIP and/or WIA funding, if awarded, to complete a comprehensive sewer project, including the rehabilitation of essential wastewater treatment processing and electrical mechanical equipment at the village's sewer treatment plant on Greentown Road, the replacement of pumping equipment and raising the height of the existing floor and equipment of Albany Post Road Pump Station to maintain collection system flows and improve resiliency from flooding events, and the replacement of 380 feet of collapsing 10-inch concrete asbestos sewer main on Albany Post Road that is in danger of breakage and failure, in accordance with separate engineering reports prepared by James J. Hahn Engineering and to be approved by the DEC and Westchester County Department of Health for the purposes of complying with all applicable DEC regulations, speedies permits, and active consent orders, and regarding the safe collection and treatment of municipal wastewater and current water quality standards. And whereas the village will be required by state regulations to undertake an environmental review of the sewer treatment plant, pump station, and collection system project activities funded through the WQIP and/or WIA programs under SECRA prior to the execution of any state assistance contracts, should such grants funds be awarded to the Village of Buchanan by the New York State DEC and NYSEFC, and now therefore be resolved, the Village of Buchanan has completed the attached Part 1 SECRA Short Environmental Assessment Form, the EAF, and conducted additional project scoping for the 3 components of the wastewater quality improvements and regional benefits project. And now therefore be resolved, the Board of Trustees, as the official oversight agency for the Village of Buchanan Public Works and Infrastructure, has declared the proposed wastewater quality improvements and regional benefits project as described in its draft funding applications to the New York DEC and New York State EFC, respectively, to consist of a Type 2 actions under SECRA in accordance with 6 NYCRR 617.5 C2 and 7. So on a motion to approve, can I have a second?
Second.
On a question? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, so the next one I want to explain a little bit so people don't get upset. It's about transferring the conducting of our village elections in March. So the village election will still be in March. The only difference is, and it'll still be here, so it'll be in March, in the Village of Buchanan. The only difference is the village clerk, Cindy Kempter, will not run the election, the village election. So what happens is the county will take the election process over. They will send up inspectors, right, Cindy, to monitor the election, and Cindy is okay with this. Cindy has been doing a great job running our village elections, but she's okay with turning it over to the county. Right, Cindy? Correct. Okay.
Teresa, just to make sure everybody knows, the inspectors comes from the same list from the county, so Cindy goes through the same list, so the same list of inspectors will be chosen from the county as well. So any village resident want to be an election inspector, normally have to go to the county anyway, so that doesn't change either. And also absentee ballots and documentation can still be picked up by here, so you don't have to go to the county to pick that up. And just, instead of mailing to us, you just mail it to the county.
So the big difference is that the county will run the election instead of the village clerk. Okay. All right, any questions from the board or comments on that? Nope. Okay. Anthony, could you read the resolution?
Sure.
Wait,
Oh, I'm sorry.
no, I got it.
Okay.
You ready, Steph?
I'm all good.
I'm all good.
We're all on the same page.
Village of Buchanan Resolution transferring the conduct of village elections to the Westchester County Board of Elections. Whereas the Village Board of Trustees has determined that it would be more efficient for the village to transfer the conduct of village elections to the Westchester County Board of Elections, the county board. Given the county board's personal and equipment resources and their experience and expertise in conducting municipal elections. And whereas the county board will receive nominating and other petitions in accordance with New York State law and provide all required publication and notices and compensate all election workers in accordance with the New York State law. Now therefore, be it resolved that in accordance with Section 15-1041C of the New York State election law, this board hereby determines that the Village of Buchanan election shall be conducted by the Westchester County Board of Elections beginning with the March 2025 election. And be it further resolved that this resolution is subject to permissive referendum as provided in Article 9 of the New York State Village Law. And be it further resolved, the Village Board of Trustees authorizes the village administrator and village clerk to take the administrative and whatever,
We know what you mean.
yeah, action
Yeah,
as
it
may
is.
be necessary to effectuate the terms of this resolution.
All right, thank you. And would you like to make a motion to approve?
I second it.
Okay, all
You
in,
made the motion?
I made the motion, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you.
Aye.
I was waiting for Bob.
Okay, the next is approving the addition of a backflow application fee of $150 to the fee schedule, and the backflow preventer is something that usually goes into a commercial building, and what my understanding of it is, it's so any water that's in the building doesn't backflow into the water system, and this is only for new applications of a backflow. So I'd like to make a motion to approve adding a backflow application fee of $150 to the fee schedule. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Gotta wait for a second for Bob.
Also, the next is, sometimes we have people that are behind a year on paying their water bills, and what happens last month is what we did is we approved it going on to their taxes. So, but this takes some work for our staff in the office to do. So what we're looking to do is adding a fee for the water we levy. So I'd like to make a motion adding a fee of $100 for the water re-levy. Can I have a second
Second.
on a question?
Yeah, on a question.
Sure.
Like we explained last time. I just wanted a clarification on where the $100 that goes on their tax bill as well?
Correct.
Like we asked last time, I don't know if it was cleared up
Yes.
last time.
Yes,
So just adding $100 onto the bill, onto the tax bill?
that's correct. It'll be added to the water bill, and then outstanding water bill and $100 will be transferred over to the taxes.
And so the public knows this is for covering our expense to do
Correct.
the work that,
Of transferring that balance over to the water bills, yes.
okay. My question has been answered.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There you go.
All right, this is the sludge removal contract we're going to be discussing next. This is something we do every year. This went out to bid. There were 3 bids that came back. Fred Cook is one. The total bid was $126,500. You're going to see a big difference in the amounts. Wind River Environmental, $246,400, and TAM Enterprises, $825,000. So there's a big spread in the prices. And what we do every year, the work to be done is the sewage plant sludge removal comprises of the removal, transportation, disposal of approximately 1,100,000 gallons of sludge from the holding tank of the village sewage treatment plant, and 5 sewage pump station wet wells. Other work related includes to call services for televising existing sewer pipes within the village, all in accordance with the plans and specifications as directed by the engineer. So I'd like to make a motion to approve Fred A. Cook at a bid of $126,500 for our sludge removal. Can I have a second
Second.
on a question? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
So what I forgot to do at the beginning, we are going to number H, to retain services for Center for Municipal Solutions. We are going to table that for the next meeting. We are not ready to have that discussion yet. And there'll be 2 removals on the last letter I, authorizing the use of the pavilion. That will be removed, and a motion to accept a gift of $50 as a donation, that will also be removed. So I'd like to make a motion to remove the table the H, and then remove the other 2. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Aye.
Okay, so information from officers and departments. Okay, Justice Court reports. For May, one of the reports, $2,190 was collected. And also May, $4,149 was collected. And Marcus, are we back, have we caught up on everything at this point, or is our secretary still catching up?
They're still catching up.
Okay. Police report. Bob, I believe that's you.
I don't have any of that with me right now.
Oh, okay, all right. I'll just quickly go through some things. Moving summons 39, total calls 204, parking summons 6, property checks 34, issued traffic ticket breakdown, disobeyed traffic control 8, stop sign violation 2, other miscellaneous violations 12, speed in zone 11, and equipment uninspected 6. All right. Highway report.
81 tons of household garbage, 28 tons of bulk, 10 tons in dumpsters, 6 tons, 6.41 bag leaves, metal was 2.73 tons. and TV monitors was 5.
Okay.
Cleaned up trees, cleaned gutters. The guys are busy getting ready for camp and fixing the building. And I have pictures here of the signs and the installation of the beautiful Village of Buchanan signs that are now on display for everybody to see. And they are beautiful, and the village employees helped with all of that, and they did a great job. They also have pictures of them, I believe this is was this from the town of Cortland, the hot box that they got here?
Yes.
For the patching the potholes, and they're very busy getting ready for camp, and they do a great job. And landscaping, they're doing very well with that as well. Thank you, guys.
Yep, looks really good, yes.
Okay, thank you. Wastewater for April 2024, treated wastewater over 12 million gallons, sludge removal 117,000 gallons. Report submitted to Westchester County Department of Health and the DE6, 6 each. Yeah, you could see we've had some heavy rain events, and we have to be careful of that because we can get into overflows. And I know a lot of other communities, we've been good, but when you get into Ossining and Yonkers, they seem to have a problem with that. So things looking good over at the wastewater plant. I'm going to have a Wilda read Building Department.
The Buchanan Building Department performed the following duties during the dates of February 1st through February 29th of 2024. Orders to remedy 1, court appearances 0, stop work orders 0, building permits issued 14, inspection required for newly issued permits 21, inspections on file for permits and compliance inspections 17, certificate of occupancies issued 11, compliance inspections for resale or refinance 2. Brian has issued the reminders for accessory apartment inspections and fire inspections. Brian continues to perform grease tap and oil water separator inspections, and he has completed a plan review for several permit applications. There are implementing building department software, Cloud Permit 9 with Joanna Falcone. There are 2 compliance inspections awaiting re-inspection for new CO issuance. Property maintenance issues reported are 0, and 0 illegal apartments were reported.
Okay, thank you. Buchanan Engine, 3 EMS assist, automatic alarms, detectors 4, gas emergencies 1, mutual aid 4, total alarms 12. All right, we have the planning board minutes for April 25th, 2024, received and filed. Zoning board, April 10th, 2024, minutes received and filed. There is no prosecutor's report this month. And that brings us to our attorneys, Stephanie Porteous.
I don't have much. We're busy in zoning, we're busy in planning. I did speak with our prosecutor, and she has been working with the building department, implementing some forms for them to be able to move forward. And that took some time between them, but I think they've been produced, and I think Peter and Brian are now using them, and that should clear up some of the open violations and get them served. And I will work on the agreement with the cell tower people. I'll work on it.
All right, good.
I mean, I'll make some phone calls probably this coming week. So we should be good by next month.
Okay,
And
good.
that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Good. Marcus, what do you have for us tonight?
A couple of things to update the board and the public. Last week, I had a meeting with consultants for the town of Cortland. They're looking at a TOD, which is a transit-oriented development along the train station. Believe they have a developer in mind to develop units there. So they're looking at how they be able to connect to our sewer system. So they asked a lot of specific questions regarding our wastewater system overall. Based on our conversation, at this point, the village engineer will have to be involved in the process. Got confirmation from the town that they'll pay for his services. So there'll be probably meetings in the future with the town regarding their project. and then what involvement and what effects to our wastewater treatment plant will be discussed at that point. So that was my number one thing I want to bring up.
And the TOD is near the train
The
station?
yeah.
Transit-oriented district.
Yeah, next to the train station, correct. So they're talking about rezoning that area.
Oh, okay.
So that's part of the rezoning, with the traffic, they're gonna look at traffic, they're gonna look at the water, sewer, all the utilities that have to be done. So they hire consultants to look at that, so there'll be hopefully future public discussions about that at this point, but that was our first meeting with the town regarding that issue. That's my one. The other thing I have is we actually released the bids for the paving and the water valve replacement, so that's on our website. I already received some calls from contractors. Hopefully we get good prices on that so we can get that moving forward.
When is the return on the,
I don't remember. It's on our website. I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
You remember, Cindy, do you remember what date it was?
I don't remember, I was just gonna look it up.
Okay. if you
yeah,
look
I
it up.
think we're all kind of in agreement that, they don't come in October to start if we can get,
Yeah, I forgot what the return date was.
we had that discussion,
As soon as
the
Cindy finds it,
workshop.
we'll put it out there.
Okay.
The next thing I have, just to give you an update, AMS in Village Square, had a discussion with them. They'll continue moving forward. We actually have an address now for Village Square. They're gonna put in a trailer there. It'll be 275 Craft Lane will be the address.
For AMS.
For AMS. I'm sorry. For AMS, it'll be 275 Craft Lane. We had to create an address because they're gonna put a trailer there, to start working in the site. We haven't received the plans yet. They said within the next 3 to 4 weeks, we should be receiving the plans for AMS. I talked to the Village Square architect. He said within 2 months of providing their plans for us to review as well. So, that's work in progress. The Village Square does have an address. We have to work out, there'll be 4 different buildings, so we'll work that out later on. But at least AMS is set with an address. That's moving forward. The issue with Village Square still is Lake Street. There still are an issue between the town and them regarding Lake Street. They have an attorney working with the town attorney. I haven't gotten an update on that yet as of today. They're still working whatever issue they have working out between them two. We talked about planning and zoning. We have a couple applications, people interested for both planning and zoning, some redevelopment, some buildings in the downtown on Route 9A, which is positive. We're actually rehabbing some of the buildings, will be great in the downtown. Let me see. Oh, the seniors, senior week or senior day is in August. They want to see if the village board is willing to buy them lunch for that day.
Sure. Anthony volunteers to cook hamburgers and hot dogs. What
So,
else? What else you got going on?
Yeah, so I think it's,
You're bringing the beer?
Sausage and peppers.
Oh, they'll love that. Yeah.
yeah, so I think it's going to be August,
Okay.
it'll be August 20th. So
Okay.
they're probably going to send
how
invitations to
nice.
the board members as well, so we'll mark that calendar down. I told them I'll bring it up to the board tonight. I don't think it'll be a problem. It'll be a couple $100 to give them their lunch. So, but that's moving forward on that one. Just to give you an update too, with the summer camp, moving forward with the tennis courts. The trees behind the tennis courts was an issue regarding the limbs coming down. So the trees were removed between yesterday and Monday. So the trees are out. We needed that for insurance purposes as well, and the roots
Those
were
are
actually.
big trees.
Yeah, and the
Big
roots
trees.
were actually affecting the tennis courts.
Yeah.
So the trees are down now. Now they'll be able to finish up, clean up the tennis courts. They'll be ready for summer camp. So that's moving forward on that. We talked about grants. We applied for the swim grant. I sent the board an email today. Got some
don't
bad
qualify.
news. After some details, there's a scoring system. It is all based on low income and distressed communities, which they don't consider village a distressed community. So our grant writer said, came back to me and says, I don't think we're going to get any chance of getting the grant. They went through the scoring system. They're not going to charge us anything for the work they did, and they
Oh,
just want to
that's
give you the
nice.
heads up before we apply for anything. So we won't be able to apply for the
And that's
pool.
funny, because I was talking to Wilda, we were up by the pool yesterday, but I was talking to her about the grant, and I said, you know what? I would imagine that it would be more geared towards city, like a city market, so that the kids would have access to pools, and our pool unfortunately does not get a lot of use. So I think if they looked at our numbers, I don't
Right.
think, it's a beautiful
a
pool.
beautiful pool, yeah.
Absolutely
It
beautiful
is.
pool.
Yep. So we're going to have to talk about what we're going to do with our pool. We're putting Band-Aids on it, so later we'll have to do something major with the pool. So I want to let you know that. The other thing is, we actually have our first installment agreement for taxes. The person came in today and paid their first installment, which is 25%. So that's the first village's installment. That was a person who had to pay taxes about 10 years. So that was paid today. Now they have to continue paying 4 more installments and keep the current taxes currently. So, they didn't pay the current taxes today. They said they have to end of the month, which they do. So they have to end of the month to pay the current taxes. And then I just have something for executive session, and that's my little update for the board tonight.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Oh, wait, one more thing, sorry, I forgot.
Oh,
Just want to see if the board wants to discuss, again, I don't want to discuss it now or executive session, the crosswalks with the town. I got another email from the town again, asking how we're going to move forward. So I'll bring that for discussion.
well, I don't know, it's kind of
up to you.
expenditure of money, it's got to get discussed
Yep.
in
so
public.
That was the
I
last thing I
just-
wanted to bring up, because they said they're not going to do any work until they get direction from the board.
All right, do you want to, let's discuss that at the workshop?
Yeah, all right, so.
Well, they're on an agenda with paving that road.
Oh, are they?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
and I believe that's what their push is to.
Okay.
Their push is to do the construction prior to the pavement. It looks like a pre-paved job, and I agree with them, but I don't think it, I still maintain my opinion that that is not our responsibility for that crosswalk. I do feel that it is a safety issue, though, and but, you know, I feel like they installed the sidewalk. It's non-compliant with state ADA rules, and they should fix it.
I agree with Anthony. You know, we looked at that originally. It is their sidewalk, and they're looking to split it, which is like $45,000. And really, it's their sidewalk. I mean, I thought originally, laugh at me, we said this before, that, you know, years ago, you would make the crosswalk, guys would go in, paint it, boom, you're done. But this ended up becoming a lot more. So people know this is the crossing from Bannon Avenue by Kings Ferry, and also the end of Tate Avenue in Kings Ferry. And someone had mentioned it was a dangerous situation, but I think about that also, because sometimes, you know, can you put a sign there saying, like the T intersection, dangerous crossing, to alert people?
I mean, we could put anything we want there.
Yeah,
We could put,
yeah.
I mean, we have a stop bars, our painted stop
Right.
bars are installed, which is, you know, the cars stop, but it's just the cars coming in off of Kings Ferry, which
yeah.
is their road.
They come around.
They don't have to yield on the right turn to the, you know, if the crosswalk was there, they'd have to yield. But being that it's not there, and that is their road as well. So everything impedes from their side, you know, it's.
Yeah, it's just a lot of money. I think it's a
Yeah.
lot of money, and it's their road. And you know what? We had a discussion a while back, because we were talking about putting a crosswalk in front of Fat Sal's. But that's the same thing. They're coming off Albany Post Road. But then, if you have a crosswalk, it doesn't mean people are going to stop.
Right.
And sometimes people have a false sense of security because they're in the crosswalk. You know, so it's kind of like the whole thing is a double-edged sword in the end. So
Yeah, because once you commit to putting the crosswalk in, you have to make it compliant with ADA, which costs a ton of money. You could put the sign there, yield to pedestrians, where, you know, it's a ticket, it's a violation at that point. But it still has to be compliant with ADA, which costs a ton of money to do. And you that's why you can't just paint them,
That's right.
you know, and it's ridiculous. You should be able to, it's your village.
yeah.
But then it becomes a liability if it's not ADA compliant,
That's right.
so.
Yeah, it's something that you think was simple to do, ended up turning into being a Pandora box. So I don't know.
So
Don't know what the
do you want
board-
more discussion? Do you want to tell?
We're
the
going to
town?
have,
Do you want to?
yeah,
talk
I'd
the
like to
town
have the
board?
whole board and, you know, like Bob's thoughts and Dan's thoughts on it. I'm not thrilled about fixing their sidewalk. And, you know, I want of course, we all want the intersection to be safe, but, you know, $45,000, our share of it. I don't know. What are you thinking, Stephanie? I see you're thinking there.
This is on their property, town-owned
Well, the
property?
sidewalks are their
So the
properties, they
liability's
install them.
theirs? Yes?
Well, it's on our village side, but it's their sidewalk.
So the way that George drew up the drawing,
Right.
okay, the drawing would bring the sidewalk into village property, because then it would make the sidewalk compliant. You need the square footage of area, of sidewalk flat area to make it ADA compliant.
I get it.
So that would bring it into the village property with the plans that George drew up. Because right now, the sidewalk, actually, the drop in the curb puts you in traffic,
Correct.
you know? So it doesn't really, it's not effective in the way that it should be.
That's what we like.
So if we go with George's drawings, which he submitted to the town, then it would put it all on the village property.
On one intersection, the other
Yeah,
intersection.
the
is
one
totally-
intersection.
The other intersection is totally town,
But they're asking us to pay half for both?
half for everything.
For everything, yeah.
You guys should discuss that more.
Yeah, yeah. And then, you know, the sidewalk too, is they maintain that sidewalk. That was a sidewalk that was installed years ago to help with the walking to the library. So they maintain it in the wintertime, they plow it, they, you know, so, you know, yeah, I think there needs to be more discussion, honestly.
I agree.
So shall I tell the town engineer that you'll be discussing the next workshop?
Next workshop, yeah.
Okay. And I'm sorry, one more item, the digital sign that we've been waiting for.
Oh, yeah.
I finally got an updated price from one electrician. I'm waiting for one more. I was supposed to have it today, I didn't get it. So depending, we'll give you the price, we can move forward with the digital sign.
Okay,
So-
did you hear that, Bob?
Yep.
The
Bob-
digital
Bob-
sign?
Yeah, Bob helped me, he made a phone call to
Yes.
one of the electricians.
Yes, I did.
Okay, good, thank you.
Marcus, what is?
I heard.
What is the holdup with the electricians? Are they, because, why are they backing out of this? It's a small job.
They don't want to go through the building to get to the power.
So didn't we recommend using one of the light poles to pull the power from?
They say there's not enough power, and it is connected to a timer, and they will have to then they have to still get into the building to get into the timer,
Nothing's easy.
because all the power is inside the building. And those lights on the outside on the trees are running off a timer inside the building.
It just seems like they don't want to do the job. Because if they
Correct.
went inside the building and took the hot
Correct.
lead, I mean, I could explain it to you, but
But I finally got,
Yeah.
I already got one that is a reasonable price, so just to match our procurement policy, if I don't get one by the end of the week, then we can go with the one we have. So we'll make a decision this week, and we'll start the work. And then that's also include putting a switch at the gazebo, so that where, because they're gonna run the trench from the sidewalk past the gazebo into the building, and we always have problem running lights or to the gazebo for the holidays, so we'll have power at the gazebo as well.
what is the draw on this sign that won't pull off the 120?
I don't know off the top of my head. I'll give it to you, but that's what every electrician said, that 3 electricians said, I don't want to cut through the building.
Well, it's a pretty solid building, I don't know.
Yeah. But the one they gave me a price to drill the hole, get everything done, and we're ready to go. We'll be able to go this week.
All right, well, let's
So
see.
that's the update.
Yeah, like I said, nothing's easy. Okay, we received an invitation today from the Buchanan seniors. They have their installation luncheon on Friday, June 21st, from 12 to noon. So thank you for inviting us. Also, on Friday, the BV school had the Memorial Day Parade, and I know I saw Eileen there, and was Lisa, were you there, Lisa? Oh, okay. There were a lot of people there, and the parade goes from BV up 4th Street, down 1st Street, to the pavilion where they had a ceremony. I love going to this ceremony every year. These kids are so cute. And they did a phenomenal job singing the national anthem. There was like a tear to my eye. It was so beautiful. I was hoping somebody had taped it, because I would have liked to put that on Facebook, but I don't think anybody taped it. So if anybody is out there that taped that, please let us know. We'd like to put that on Facebook. The only other thing I have, we have some excitement here in the village on June 13th in this room at 6 p.m. We have the Decommissioning Oversight Board meeting, and the Nuclear Regulatory Committee will be in the house. So it should be quite interesting meeting. So please, if you can come, try to get here a little early. The room fills up quick, and that is at 6 p.m. All right, thank you. And next,
You said at 6, right?
At 6,
At
yes.
6.
It's always a fun time here in the village. And Awilda, we'll go right down the line. What do you have for us this evening?
On Saturday, you and I were at the parade. I have to say it was my first time attending a parade here in Buchanan, and it was very well organized. The residents were filled with pride, and I felt privileged to be part of it, and I am grateful that that was allowed. Also, the mayor and I went to look at the pool house yesterday because there were some questions about whether it would be fit to open up during the summer session as well as during summer camp. In my opinion, just with a little cleaning, it should be ready to go. I don't know. Do you
And the
agree?
pool looked great.
The pool, no, the
was
pool
really-
itself is great. The house, whether residents will change and use the bathrooms, again, with a little sprucing up, it should be fine.
Awilda wanted to jump in, but I had to stop her. Anyhow,
Oh, yeah, like I could swim, right? I need to learn how to swim.
well, we're going to teach you.
You look at me like I'm,
What?
I was in the guppy class for 3 years, and they told me not to come back.
That's
So
bad.
I put myself out there.
All right.
I do need to learn how to swim. I've tried, even as an adult.
This is
No,
the year.
what? I
is the
wish
year. Make it
someone had the
happen.
courage to teach me. It's like,
All right.
really, really.
Just jump in.
I'm the only adult where the little kids go at the 3 feet.
Wouldn't take you long.
Yeah.
Really?
Learn fast.
All right,
Yeah.
I challenge you.
All right.
I have it for you. You can come
Oh,
over.
we,
I learned when I was 45 years old.
okay.
All right, see?
So you're giving me encouragement, thank you. But I really do want to learn, I'm just terrible at it. I'm terrible.
You're frightened, or you're just,
I'm afraid of, well, I don't know if this is the time to say it, but I was thrown into a lake by
Yeah,
a cousin
you
who
have to
felt that
fear
that
it.
was the right way to teach me how to swim, and he walked away, and I was 15 years old, and I thought my world had ended, but I got out, and he says, now you know how to swim. No, I'm afraid of the water.
Yeah.
But
it
that's on
happens.
my bucket list. I want to
Okay.
learn how to swim. So if you
This
want to be
year.
the courageous soul, bring it on.
I would have done one too, though.
All right. We'll have updates throughout the summer.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Anthony, what do you have for us?
A few things. The one thing that was touched on the beginning of the meeting was the deal with Holtec, how excited we should be and the village should be for that. It really is is great news, and it does help us moving forward tremendously. And once again, thank everybody for that. Marcus, we touched on the town development down there at the train station. I know there's a lot of stuff going on, and I mean, I'm excited about more development, and them using our facility, but we need to figure out what's going on with the IMA and when we're gonna start, or when we're gonna get the money to start construction on the rehab of our facility. Because until that happens, none of the other stuff can happen. And that needs to be a priority, and not to throw it on you, but we have to do the work. We have to reach out to them. We made the deal, we need to make the work happen, because that seems like, you know, it's like a forgotten thing here that, and, you know, our wastewater treatment plant runs great,
It does.
okay?
Yeah.
But that could end tomorrow, we all know that.
Correct.
You know, so I feel like we're waiting for this, and I want to get ahead of it. I think we should get ahead of it and get it done
So it
before
does-
more money starts to disappear.
So the idea would be is that we're applying for the two grants.
Yeah.
And again, it's the board discussion above my pay grade is if we do not get awarded those two grants for
Yeah,
some
that's right.
reason, then the state and the town will have to agree to release the energy money, which is $7 million, which allow us to do the work that has to be done.
Correct.
So that will be step 2 per se. And you're right, I think they gotta have the town has said multiple times, you can have all the money, as Teresa said multiple
we'll
times.
take it.
And so the idea would be is, that will be our safety net if we don't get those grants.
You know what I'd like to do, and I'm glad you
Yep.
brought that up, because I wanted to talk to the board. Tom Cogden, who is involved in this, will be here on June 13th, so maybe let's see if we can get him here earlier to just sit down and have a talk.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay.
I mean, we need to figure out what's going on, because
Yep.
once again, if we don't get the grant money, like Marcus said,
What's the
we
plan?
need to, I mean, that was, that was given to us. It was given, then it was taken away from us, and then it was
Indian givers.
given back to us verbally. But
Yes.
part of the agreement was that we would allow them to tie in if we got the total amount. And if we don't get the grant money, we need to really pursue that. And
And I think, Anthony, I think that's a good discussion you have to have with the town board as well, because my discussion with them through that conference call was they believe they have access to the plant right now. And I told them, no, that's not correct. We have to get the upgrades done. So they asked about the timeline, which is something I don't know, but we're applying for the grants. So they gotta have a clear understanding from the village board to the town board to their engineer.
well, see, that's what
consultants.
confuses me is because they want all these reports on on how we are maintaining right now and how we're functioning, the levels that we're at. But, you know, it should all be based on the future of the new system. It shouldn't be based on what's going on right now because that's basically what we're looking to tie them into.
And
And
that's a great point. That's why they believe that their 100,000 takes precedence what we have right now, and they think they can go into the system right now.
That is what George.
no, and that's what I'm talking about. Is like
Yes.
they believe that our current situation is what they're tying into. Well, it's not. It's not. It's got to be the revitalized wastewater plant.
So that's the discussion, I think.
I just remember
has been
differently.
communicated with the town board and the consultant. I tried to express that to them myself during that call.
Well, you're right.
Yeah, but I think the consultant would say that that's not the impression we received from the town representatives, that as the study shows up, they got 100,000 gallons right now they can tie in. That's what they believe.
Well, this is why we asked George. George is trying to change the Speedies permit. So right now, I believe it's 500,000 gallons that we can do a day. So George had run the numbers and said that we were able to give the town 100,000 gallons.
Not anymore.
Before any upgrades, he did.
But if you look at our flow, if we used 100,000, it will be over our capacity. So that's a conversation.
And I think
That's why I
that's-
agree with
yeah.
Anthony, is that
Yeah.
we have to have an upgraded plant and additional capacity to let the town in. If not, we'll be over
Well,
capacity.
we gotta go
before
back
do
to
it,
the
and we'll
IMA.
build- and
Well,
we'll
George
build.
did say
Yeah.
that. George did
Yeah.
say that we could
Yeah.
take on the extra
Yes.
flow now,
Yeah.
even with the development,
Yeah.
which pressures our situation even more. But, I mean, their scope of work is way out in the future.
Oh, yeah, absolutely,
Way out in the
yes.
future.
Oh.
And I believe that we'll come to an agreement and get this plant brought up to speed before then. So, I mean, I'm confident that we'll get it done. I just, you know, I just, their speculation of how we're running right now is not what they're gonna be able to tie into. You know, they want reports,
Yeah.
they should escalate the reports a little bit,
Yep.
because it's gonna be better for them than the ones, the current ones.
That's why it'll be important for the town maybe to write a letter of support or something for,
Or maybe we'll
The
invite
grant.
them on the 13th if I
Yeah.
can get Tom
Yeah, so
Costin
they
here.
Or
should-
maybe just reread the IMA that they signed,
Yeah.
because it says, the only thing what George said, but we said this was all based on the rehab of our current plant. You know, pretty much, and they're like, and that's when they're like, oh, you can have all the money. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna need it.
yeah.
So, and that was something that I wanted to speak about, but other than that, you know, that's it, really. I'm excited that the AMS project is gonna start.
Yeah.
You know, you keep getting questions on that, on what's going on, and
You're right. I heard rumors that they lost their financing. they're
Oh, me
going
too.
anyway. Yeah, I've heard the same rumors. And every time I hear the rumor, I
Yeah.
get on the phone with AMS. What are you talking about? We would do analysis for the rock density to figure out if the chip will blast. We're going to put a trailer in there. We have all engineers on place. So just want to make sure the board knows that it's moving forward.
yeah, I believe their scope was to start in August anyway.
Correct.
You know, I think that was what they initially said. So, and that's it. And there was a horrific accident yesterday in Verplank where somebody ran over the geese.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. Oh.
And everybody's slowing down. I mean, that's ridiculous. That was totally ridiculous, and a whole family got massacred.
I can't imagine hitting one.
No, I mean, it's really crazy. And, you know, if you're out there and you're listening, man,
Yeah.
there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's no good. And
Leave the little.
Just slow down and pay attention. The animals are important too. Everybody should just,
Poor thing.
be a little more careful. So, that's all I got to say.
Oh, and piggybacking on that, I have spoken to Scott, but let's stay on top of it. There's a tree on Westchester Avenue by the pumping station, and they have berries on it. And what happens is the geese go after those berries, they stay in the middle of the road, and there's been some fatalities there also. So I had talked to Scott about that, so just remind him that that tree needs to get trimmed back so that the geese are not in the middle of the road on. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I think it's a mulberry tree or something like that. Yeah, so, but it's right on the road, so, yeah, we don't want that here, poor things, oh my God. Okay, oh, Bob, are you,
Oh, no, I'm done. Thank you.
okay, Bob, you have anything for us this evening?
I don't really have too much except to follow up on what Anthony was saying about the wastewater treatment plant. I think that we definitely have to keep on an eye on that and how it's going, because I was under the impression, as Anthony was, that that wasn't going to happen unless we got this repairs to the plant. So, and that's all I really have, except I'll be back in town in 2 weeks.
All right, we'll wait right here for you. Any comments from the floor? No? No? Okay, everybody's good? No comments? Okay.
And no attendees, so there's nobody.
And no
else.
attendees. Would you like to say something?
Yes, I
Oh,
wanted to-
come up to the podium and your name and. All right, thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Sandrine Gracio from 235 Gallagher Street. So I was here because they're doing the curbs on our street, and I had asked for our curb in the front of the house if it could be a drop curb, just like it's done down the road. And I had spoken with like the guy who is actually doing the work. I spoke with I had called and emailed several times to the building inspector, but I hadn't heard back. So they did the cement pouring today, and they said no, and that it was denied. I didn't put anything in, but I also know that the other house didn't put anything in either, that they just asked for it and they got it. So I was just, why is it that ones are able to get the drop curb and others aren't? And I wanted to find out, about this.
Was this
One.
pre-existing, the drop curb? Or is this a new drop curb?
It's a new drop curb.
Yeah. Because this is the first time hearing of the request. I didn't hear anything about it.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing it, but the decision was, if you had a drop curb already, was to put everything back the way it was. So if you didn't have a drop curb, the decision was not to put more drop curbs all over the village. So that was the decision that was reached during the whole planning phase. Yeah. They had to put
Who was
drop
the other
curb.
one? There was a new one installed on the street that was...
Yeah, there's a few on the street, but from what I was told, that per code, it has to be 6 inches. And so anything, per code, he said, everything has to be 6 inches. And even if there was something that was not, that they would be doing it per code. But then that would mean if they were doing it the right way, right all along, that one wouldn't be dropped. Because why one can be
Yeah,
a drop curb and...
the direction that was given to the village engineer was put everything back the way it was. If you had a drop curb, you put a drop curb in. If there was a straight curb, leave it a straight curb. That was the direction that was reached when we actually did the project.
Yeah, so that's, yeah, so that,
So
I
if you're
don't,
telling me they put a drop curb for somebody that didn't have a drop curb originally, then the contractor and village engineer didn't follow direction.
who didn't follow the
The village
direction?
engineer and the contractor. So if you let me know if there's a house that was put in, a new drop curb
Yeah,
that
well,
wasn't in
so,
before-
so the forms were already in place to put in the 6-inch curb. The contractor had them in, and the engineer said the customer requested a drop curb, so then they had to change, they changed it to a drop curb. And then I
If
asked,
we're talking about the same person, we're talking about the original picture, they were originally going to put it higher up, but then they showed picture that they didn't have a drop curb originally, so they do the drop curb, but they took pictures of every single house, in front of every house, to compare that they're gonna put it back the way it was. So if that person originally was gonna put a higher curb, he filed a complaint because he had a drop curb originally, so we put it back to the way it was before. If we're talking about the same person, I don't wanna name names, but if we're talking about the same person, he did have a drop curb, but we went back to his pictures, they had a drop curb. That was last one.
Not
I
an-
think the
not an
house you're
extended.
talking about is further closer to, what's that little street, William Street? I think they're
Yes,
further down that way,
yes.
yeah.
I don't know the exact number. I can look, but yeah.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
That's one of the houses. I mean, there's a few, if you turn, there's a few that are blacktop in front. And I was told that we can't do it because we can't park up on but now we don't have to park.
In the winter, that's
Right,
correct.
so that's removed, which is good, but also my father is disabled, and I asked them if they could do a smaller walkway for when we come out of the house, for when I do have to use the wheelchair there. And I guess I have to, I'm not sure exactly who I have to ask. I think the engineer,
George.
Or
George.
Paul,
Oh,
Paul is
Paul,
out there on the road.
George, yes,
George,
George.
Paul, yeah.
George is who I have to speak to. But, okay, so if it's existing, you're saying, so if I had, or if I cut it, then I can have the smaller curb?
No, you're not supposed to touch the property, no. However it was done originally,
Uh-huh.
whenever it was, we're putting everything back to the way it was. You're not supposed to cut it. If you
Right.
did cut it, that's a violation.
And so, okay, so they're able to do it as a drop curb because it was existing? and-
Correct, correct.
So
The other
code
the other
doesn't
decision was
pertain
originally,
there?
just to let you know, the board was discussing originally to put everything back with raised curbs all over the place. We had a discussion about that, but then the board decided that let's put back things the way they were. If you had a drop curb, we'll keep the drop curb, but we're not gonna add any more drop curbs in the future.
Yeah, so for what I'm
Yeah.
familiar with
Yeah.
now, was the one situation in the house where,
Correct.
yeah, I know what you're talking about now. That was, so that was pre-existing, I
Correct.
believe,
That's correct.
and that was what the complaint was, that it was pre-existing.
That's correct.
But isn't that in his lawn? Is
Yeah,
that where it is?
all across the front lawn, yeah. And I was told
In
that.
front of the house,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Between, yes.
And I listen, I'm just as guilty because I said put it back the way it was. I don't, and
Everybody agreed to that.
yeah, everybody
exactly.
agreed to it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry.
So,
I wish that it could have worked for you. I mean, if did they pour it already?
They
Yeah.
did today, yeah.
Yeah. And if we would have heard about this, maybe we could have made some adjustments. But now I don't.
so does it make it impossible for your father, he's disabled, to get out now, or?
No, well, we're gonna have to do, I guess, figure that out. I don't know if they can still, I don't know if they can still do like a semi-ramp there. I'm not sure what's allowed. And I spoke with Peter, but I think I need to speak with George, is what I was told.
And there's
But-
another guy that's out there, the engineer on site is Paul. So during the day, you know, when the guys are out there, ask if Paul is there.
Well, I spoke to the one, but his name was Miguel, that was there.
Oh,
Oh, that's
yeah.
probably the contractor, yeah.
He works for Han. He works for Han.
Yeah, it works for him, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't meet him yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll talk to all, since you talked to them, I'll talk to them tomorrow, tell them what the issue is with your father, and see if we can figure something out.
So you
Okay.
just want to drop for the sidewalk, right?
Yeah,
Okay, and I think we should, you know,
God bless.
Bless you.
that
Bless
for the
seems-
walkway, yeah.
I mean, that's a reasonable request, and I will look into it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So do you have a walkway from the front door to the curb?
A walker?
Do you have a walkway for your father?
Yes.
You do have a
Yeah.
walkway? So you have a break up between where the walkway ends and the curb?
Where
Is
the
that what-
walkway ends. Yeah, the street, and we have a walkway up to where
Your
we
house.
are, yeah.
Okay,
We don't
okay.
have, we actually have stairs there too, so we have to do ramp or something there, so.
For him, right, I
We're
understand.
thinking later on, there in the front
I
would
understand.
be good to have
Okay.
a ramp there.
All right, let me talk to everybody
I don't
tomorrow.
know how-
We'll try to get a conference call with you tomorrow. If you can, before, if you leave your phone number with Sharon, and
Okay.
then we'll give you a call tomorrow. Okay?
Okay. All right,
All
thank
right,
you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Yeah, we're all
Thanks.
going to get there someday, so,
Yeah.
all right, thank you. Any other comments from the floor? No? Okay, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss negotiations. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, and have a great Buchanan Day. And Lisa,
Recording stopped.
you are correct. We live in extremely